What is up? What is up, DTube Hexagons? Today I want to talk about some things. This is day 12 out of 100 days of Hex, getting closer to the end of the launch phase in 2020 here. That's ending on, I think, November the 17th and November 19th, big payday. So today I want to talk about ignorance, cowardice, and apathy. The true pandemics of 2020. So let's start off with ignorance. We can just take into cryptocurrency industry. We see how much ignorance is in this industry. Take Cointelegraph, for example. So how is Cointelegraph ignorant? Well, I have proven that they're lying in many of their articles, and I've been writing tweets about it. So for example, a few days ago, they talked about Kim.com, and they say that he wrote a tweet in 2018 that said buy Bitcoin and gold. But then you click on the tweet and it said buy crypto and gold. And they're saying that he said buy Bitcoin and gold, but he didn't say that, because when you click on the tweet, it's not even like he didn't even say that. And they're straight up lying, and they don't have any accountability. They don't fix the mistakes, and they don't even apologize when they're wrong. Cointelegraph. They on Cointelegraph made an article in February about HEX, talking about that HEX made promises, that HEX has made promises to people about huge gains, but there are no promises. Nobody has ever promised you anything. Nobody has promised you anything in Hex. Hex has no expectations, has no promises, and this has been stated extremely clearly in videos and in text form. If you go to hex.com, click on the disclaimer, you can see everything you need to know. And even then, Cointelegraph, and they know, like I know they're watching my videos, they haven't fixed their mistakes. They're making lies, and they're having it up on their websites, and they want to be the reputable, respectable source for the future of money in cryptocurrency, and they want to be like reporters and so on in this industry, but they are not accountable. They are not accountable at all, and they have like massive ignorance. So one of the true pandemics of 2020 is massive ignorance, and this no accountability aspect is really huge, because you have so much nonsense, and if people had some standards and integrity, then we would evolve this cryptocurrency industry way faster. But people are very resistant, and people are very ignorant. So for example, Hex comes out, complete project, no expectations, no promises, and has audits. And it's actually moving the cryptocurrency industry forward by innovating and doing what Bitcoin cannot do, what EOS cannot do, what XRP cannot do. It's moving way faster than the rest of the cryptocurrency industry, and Cointelegraph has ignorance. Basically, Cointelegraph has massive ignorance, and they pretend this is some nonsense project. It is, you get ashamed, and I even made longer videos, extremely long videos, about talking about Cointelegraph and like their mistakes in this industry, and like how they don't have any accountability, they're ignorant. And you also, if you disable ad blocker on Cointelegraph's website, you can see that they who they're working with is Huobi and Binance, which is the biggest centralized corrupt actors in the cryptocurrency industry. And they're basically promoting margin trading and 125x leverage, and like sending innocent people to the meat grinder. This is not good for the world. Like, we have now invented a system with HEX, trustless interest, where you stake and you do a time lock, and then you just wait, and then your stake ends, and then you get your coins. This is a better experiment. This is a better design intention. This is something that's way better than putting random people into some margin trading nonsense thing that's just gonna wreck them. And yeah, so ignorance is one of these big things that is a true pandemic of 2020, and we're trying to make this industry better, especially for 2021, where we're trying to make people less ignorant and like actually taking in real knowledge and actually seeing that there is actually better stuff here now that is not all this other nonsense that we've been having the last 7 years in this cryptocurrency industry. So yeah, that's one of the big pandemics. What are the second big pandemic of 2020? Well, it's cowardice. It's cowards. It's people that are, yeah, they're just cowards. They're straight up cowards. They are afraid. They can't speak any truths. They have the herd mentality. They are order followers. That's a big thing. They like to follow orders. They don't like, yeah, they use cowards. Like if they see something that's wrong, they don't talk about it. If they see something that's corrupt, they don't talk about it. If they see there is a lot of unfairness, for example, in DPoS Hive, for example, DPoS blockchain, where most of the coins are not going to proof of brain content creators, they're not talking about it. They're cowards. They like a DPoS system, a proof of brain system. Basically, the leaders, the Hive witnesses, they should be afraid of the community, the Hive community. But it doesn't work in the Hive community because the Hive community is cowards and they don't own any coins, and they're barely even getting any coins if they're saying something smart because they're not even getting 50% of the coins. So yeah, cowardice is the second huge pandemic of 2020, and I'm trying to fix it, by leading and showing as a good example of like, don't be a coward, like actually have your real name, be on video, speak truth, okay? Use creation, like voice, use words, speak it into the universe, truth, speak truth, expose lies and corruption and fraud and nonsense, and don't be a coward, because if you have cowardice and like if people acting like cowards, you're never gonna get any freedom at all. Like it's just gonna get worse for you all the time, because you need like integrity, you need like personal standards in life, and it's really annoying to see people being cowards, because you're making everyone's life worse, by not having integrity and personal standards. Like stuff just keeps on degrading, keeps on getting more corrupt. But if you expose the corruption pretty fast, maybe you can do something. At least you're trying, and at least you learn to have some self-respect in life. So yeah, that's the second biggest pandemic of 2020: cowardice. Like cowards that don't question anything, don't even think for themselves. They're just order followers, like just following orders from someone else, and they haven't even tried to gather some data from the real world to see for themselves what they actually believe about something. And the third biggest pandemic of 2020 is apathy. So apathy, where it's like, if we look up that word, so let's see here. So if I look up that word apathy and we go with define, it's this, yeah, apathy is basically the third biggest pandemic of 2020, and it's lack of enthusiasm or concern or lack of interest. Like they have a lack of interest, or they have a lack of enthusiasm or concern. Like they don't care, like they just don't care. And that's a big problem, right? Or it's a problem when they're not excited about something, or when they're not concerned about stuff that goes on in the world. Yeah, when they just don't care, like that is scary about people that doesn't care, or like these indifferent, like not interested, not enthusiastic. Apathy is the third biggest pandemic of 2020. It's like you have this opportunity to get in on something that may be a Federal Reserve for the people, HEX, trustless interest, and you have this launch phase that is ending in like 86 days, And a lot of people haven't even got some shares or got some HEX or haven't even tried to do a stake. Like most people complaining, they haven't even tried to do a stake. They haven't even done their proper research. They're just Googling something very quick and finding or an article from someone that's ignorant. And yeah, that's lead us to the back to the first pandemic, like this ignorance pandemic, where people are like, they're so apathetic. They have so much apathy, lack of interest, lack of concern, lack of enthusiasm that they don't even try to do something with HEX. They don't even try to do a stake. They don't even try to understand how the share price system work. They don't even go and look at the hex.vision data or the hex.live data. They don't even go and look at the hour-long videos about HEX that is explaining everything extremely detailed and in-depth with a lot of knowledge about stuff that goes on in the world. It's like a lot of people think that the Hexagon community is not informed, but no, Hex community is extremely informed. They know extremely much compared to the rest of the crypto community. And it's interesting to talk about these three things there: ignorance, cowardice, and apathy, because they are the three biggest pandemics of 2020. And I don't want to see these pandemics grow, because it's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying when people are not living up to their full potential, and when they like, it's like if everyone used their full intelligence, like everything is going to be so much better for everyone. But if they just have apathy, if they just have ignorance, if they just have cowardice, if they're just cowards, they're just afraid, you can't do that much. Like you can't do stuff like you can drop a lot of knowledge to people, but if they have apathy about that knowledge, then what's the point even of giving them knowledge if they don't utilize it? So we're trying to help people, right? We're trying to help people with HEX, we're trying to help people with knowledge, and we don't want them to have apathy. So what's cool about HEX is it's a complete product, it's a complete project. So you can focus on brand awareness and like scaling stuff up to more humans. But with Bitcoin, I sort of feel that it kind of makes people have super much apathy, because they're just waiting for random people to pump their coins. While with HEX, we have already solved it by having interest. So your main source of revenue comes from the interest. It doesn't come from pumps and dumps like Tether pumping the Bitcoin, you know. It's a superior system, and it makes the share price system makes it makes it so much more capitalist. And the capitalist system is really interesting because you get value in the proper people's hands, and it teach them to have less apathy. It teach them to have more incentive to do the right thing. Apathy sucks. It sucks to see people have apathy. It sucks to see people have ignorance. It sucks to see people being cowards and not expose corruption. I really hope that these things, that we can expand intelligence instead, because I want to see intelligence, make intelligence great again. Okay, make intelligence great again. Make trustless interest great. Make it the main source of revenue for people, that they're collecting interest, and not in this troll stuff like Journ finance and a lot of this nonsense, or like stable coins, so-called stable coins that interest that usually crash. Yeah, I mean, these are three huge pandemics, which are the ones that I'm mainly concerned about. Like people are concerned about people that are giving orders and like leaders and so on, but it is the order followers that is like the biggest problem. Like the order so what is the order followers? It's like cults of people that follow someone that hands out orders, but the actions are being the largest actions and the largest crimes are taken by the order followers and cults of humans. So it's up to individual human beings to change how they are and how they are interacting with the world, because they are the ones that are doing most of the stuff in the world, you know. So if large masses of people have ignorance, cowardice, and apathy, that's scary, you know. It is very, very scary, because it's like, yeah, it's like pitchforks, ignorance. It's not that nice. It's not that pleasant, to be honest. That's what I want to talk a little bit about today. And as I gotten used to HEX, it's really, really hard to look at most of the other projects in crypto, because none of it, it's so annoying when like people say a bunch of stuff and then it doesn't happen. And yeah, most of the other stuff doesn't have any roadmap. Nothing gets done. People fail. People run away. Like, for example, with Steam, those witnesses run away to Hive, and Hive is like, you don't even have the brand anymore. It's just sad, you know? So we want to get people out of slavery, basically. We want to get people, we want to get a lot of people out of slavery. And you probably have to infiltrate the cults. Like a lot of cults, you probably want to infiltrate them with true knowledge. And that means that you can't be a coward, okay? You can't be a coward, because you need to be around people. You need to be around uh, a lot of people and like spread knowledge to them. And an easy way to spread knowledge now is the internet, you know, because you can reach so many people with the internet, you know. And that's something that's very, very nice. It's very, very easy to reach people and like drop knowledge to them. There's a big reason why I'm using video, and it's because video, it's a it's the best medium. Video is the best medium to kind of spread knowledge to people, and it scales amazing. So it's important that we kind of infiltrate cults and like are where the people are, and correct things that are like false. Like if we see people that write things that are like blatantly false, maybe like correct them or something like that with truth, by like saying, well, this is not true because I can logically prove that you did this, or this is actually wrong, or we have some evidence over here. I like how, yeah, I think eventually we're going to move more into a logical based society where people operate less on emotions and just operate more on pure logic. I think so, because I mean, like, yeah, one of the things about humans is like they think they're super logical, but they're not really logical. They're just operating on emotions, you know, and that's why like. That's probably why a lot of people ignore HEX. Like they're looking at it from a more emotional side. Like, oh, we need some institutions. Oh, we need some cool kind of leaders, or we need some cool kind of buzzwords. It's like they wanna they wanna more satisfy their emotions. They're not fully honest with themselves that most people are just in crypto to kind of get rich, and they want to like pump their bags. And Hex is just using straight up logic in a very, very raw way to kind of use like, okay, people, you kind of want this. Okay, we built a system here where you can kind of get what you want super fast, and then you can go about your day and do something else. Like if you want to go and do something else, you can go and do it because now you have the time to go and do so. But people like these buzzwords, and people like those fancy ideas that we have like hundreds of super serious projects, we have hundreds and thousands of serious people in this industry. So I kind of believed that first also when I came in this industry, because I was kind of gullible and naive when I came into this industry early 2018. Everything looked like paradise and like heaven, and there were actually some cool things happening, and it feels good for a while when you kind of read those white papers or like seeing those nice fancy logos, and it seems like there's so much stuff being worked on behind the scenes. But eventually you kind of realize nothing is really being worked on behind the scenes, that the projects are not even real. um, People yeah, you kind of realize how naive people are and how gullible people are, and you kind of you get used to see how easy it is for people to be sold a bunch of lies, and instead of admitting that they were wrong, they just keep play along and like pretend everything's fine. It's just like Bitcoiners right now. They're pretending everything's fine. Like, oh, this is fine. The the ETH thing is never gonna flip us. The HEX thing is never gonna flip us. But it probably will, right? Because Bitcoin is kind of running on borrowed time. It's too expensive. It's too slow, and better systems are kind of coming. And sure, they are a little bit overloaded right now, but they're coming. Like though there are solutions even to the overload issues and so on, and there's just more money flows. Like if you take the Bitcoin, you don't have some on-chain decentralized exchange with Bitcoin where you can trade super fast, but with the ETH and Uniswap, you kind of have that. You can trade fast between stable coins and like on-chain liquidity and $200 million daily volume without any KYC. Stuff is getting better, like stuff is getting better on these newer systems. So yeah, I mean, we want to move people away from being ignorant and kind of seeing the reality of things, being a realist. And I'm being a realist when I say that ignorance, cowardice, and apathy are the three biggest pandemics of 2020, and we're trying to make people evolve beyond these nonsense things and focus on real stuff. That's kind of what I wanted to talk a little bit about on day 12 out of 100 days of HEX. Hopefully you enjoyed, and have an awesome day, Hexicans.